Hello and welcome to Big Tech Tutorials. In today's video I will be showing you how to create a stinger for use in your OBS streams or recordings with two free softwares. One of them is HitFilm Express and the other one is Xmedia Recode. The reason we're using two softwares is because HitFilm Express will be able to export it, but it'll be in an AVI format, and in order to use it inside of OBS you do need a WebM file. So we're going to use that one to convert it after we've already exported it here from HitFilm Express. Now, the thing you want to, some of the things that you want to keep in mind is how long you want your stinger to be, what size you're outputting or recording in OBS, and where about you want the transition of the stinger to take effect. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and start. I personally am going to be exporting or recording in 720 on my OBS, so I'm going to go ahead and select 720 and I'm going to hit OK. All the default settings are pretty much okay with me. So we're going to go over to media. Now you can import your media by going here and going to import media, or you can also just open up the folder wherever you might happen to have it and kind of drag it on over to, here we go, and let go of it there, and there you go. Okay, so now this is a PNG file. It's a transparent file, and the reason you want to use a transparent file is because obviously you want to be able to see the video behind this. This is kind of like a stinger is an overlay of the on top of the video, and at some point this overlay is going to completely cover the screen, and when that happens, that's when you want the transition to happen from one scene to another inside of your OBS. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this in here and put it in there. When I ask you this, just go ahead and hit no. Alright, now I'm holding control down on the keyboard and I'm using the scroll wheel on my mouse to kind of get a better, to kind of expand that or zoom in, if you will. Alright, so that's about a 5-second, by default it puts the image there for about 5 seconds, and that's pretty reasonable, but I'd say a good stinger time would be about 4 minutes. So 4 seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this down to about 4 seconds, and let's verify. Yep, so we're at about 4 seconds. So now that we have it at about 4 seconds, which is what we want, and actually what you can do is you can right click here and go over to speed duration just to verify. Yep, I do have the duration at 4 seconds, and the speed of course is normal. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK now that I verified that. And what you're going to want to do here to kind of manipulate this, whatever JPEG, whatever transparent image you're using, or if you're using text or a logo, you can use whatever you want. I just happen to use this because my son wanted me to make him a video of this gummy bear character, so I just have it, you know, handy right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the controls tab you see over here, and what that's going to do is it's going to offer us the opportunity to use these transform features here. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold control and kind of zoom out to make sure that we get a better view of, or zoom in actually, a better view of the keyframes that we're going to be laying down. So what I'm personally going to do in this little stinger transition is I'm going to use the scale and the rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and enable the scale, and I'm also going to enable the rotation. Oh, sorry, I right clicked there. So I'm going to go enable the scale and the rotation. Now what that does is the moment I click on them, since I do have it at the very beginning, as you can see here in the timeline, it went ahead and laid down one keyframe there, which is perfect. That's what you want anyways, because as we go along and we drop more keyframes, you want to transition from the starting point to your next point. So now remember I said one of the things that you want to always have before you start this project is where about you want the transition to happen. So since we have this as a 4-second stinger that we're creating, I'd say directly right in the middle would be a good point to make the full coverage of the screen happen, so that we can transition to the other video, or the other scene, I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and hit 2 there. I'm just manually editing that. I'm going to hit enter, and now I put it exactly at the 2-second mark. And then, so what I'm going to do is what I want this image to completely cover the screen. So I'm going to scale it all the way up to where we have complete coverage right there. Pretty much eliminated all the black background that you can see there. And then on the rotation, I kind of want this to rotate 1 full time before it gets to that point. So we're going to go ahead and put it right about there. That'll do just fine. Or if you want, you can manually come in here and put it at what is it, 360 for a complete rotation. There we go. See, it puts it at 0. You have the absolute rotation here, and it's at 1 full rotation. Okay, so that's fine there. As you can see, it introduced some new key frames there, and that's excellent. That's what we wanted. And then now we're going to go here, and we're going to go to the end, which is our 4-second mark. There we go. And I'm going to hit enter there, and now it is taking the cursor to the very end of it, and we're going to drop some more keyframes right there. And what I want is, I don't want it to continue to rotate in the same direction, so I'm not going to increase it the times here. What I'm actually going to do is just go here and bring this full rotation down to 0, and then it'll rotate back in the other direction as it zooms out, because I'm also going to take this scale and I'm going to put it back at 100% here. So I don't know if you guys are following me, but I hope you are. All I've done now, it's quite simple, is I've taken and I've said, okay, the good starting point is 0 and 100% for the rotation of the scale. And then as we go along and it gets to these middle keyframes here, we have 1 full rotation here, so at 360 degrees, and the zoom is about 335%, as you can see there. And then as it goes back out, I want to rotate back now in the other direction, and we've done that by adding another keyframe, or a couple more keyframes here at the end, getting it back down to the same 100% and 0 like we started off with. Now if you say, let's say you wanted the rotation to continue in the same direction, well, instead of going back down to 0, you would just put this all the way up to 2, and that it would go up to 720, and so it would give you another full rotation on the way out. So I hope you're following me there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now if I go ahead and play that, see, boom, comes back, awesome. And like I said, the beautiful thing is that we know exactly where these keyframes are right here. They're exactly at the 2-second mark. So that's important information that we're going to need when we go to use this inside of OBS, and I'll show you that here in a bit. So now that we're done with the stinger, it's quite a simple stinger. I mean, you can go as complicated as you want. You can introduce other elements, you know, full color, you know, backgrounds. You can do whatever you want to do, really. I mean, but you do want some transparency, because that is what creates kind of a cool effect between scenes, is that you can see this object, but it's kind of like an overlay over your current scene and then your next scene. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit export here. I'm going to add to queue, and since I haven't, you know, given it any in and out specific points, I'm going to go ahead and just go contents so that it knows that I want to do the whole thing. And then we're going to go here, and the option you want to select is uncompressed AVI with alpha. Okay, so the default, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as default. You can go in there and edit where you want it to store it. For now, for me, the default is fine, so I'm going to go ahead and hit start exporting. And it shouldn't take long. It's only a 4-second clip. So come on. There we go. And as you see, now don't be afraid, guys, don't be scared, because it is going to be quite a big file. So as what I'm going to do is go here into Recode. Remember I said this Recode software is what we're going to use to convert, because that AVI, it does have the transparency. That's what that alpha channel was that we selected, that uncompressed with alpha. That alpha channel is the transparency channel. So we're going to go in here and hit open file, and I'm going to go ahead and navigate on over to where do I have it? I put it on the desktop. Is that where I said? Yeah, desktop, and then hit Film Express. Here we go. This is the file that we just exported. Now as you can see here, we do have a 422 megabyte file, which is quite big for just a 4-second clip, I do admit. But that is another reason why we're using this software, to go ahead and convert it, because you'll see in a minute it converts it down to a really decent, file size for 4 seconds. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. There we go, it brought it in. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on the format here. Make sure you click on WebM, and there's only really one other setting you're going to want to mess with, which is in the video tab here. You do want to come in here and hello, silly me. Here it is. We'll find it for you guys. Okay, so you do want to go to this video tab here, and you want to make sure that the codec is VP9, because that is the one that will carry over that alpha channel for you. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and add it to queue. I've already done that. Let me just actually go over to the queue to verify that it is in. See, I added it before, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that, because I want to make sure that I have that while the video tab there, and then add that to queue. That way when we go over to the queue, and you see there, sure enough, VP9, which is what you need, like I said, to carry over that alpha channel. So I'm going to go ahead and hit encode. Shouldn't take very long at all. Pretty much under a minute or so. And there we go, guys. That's finished up. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Then I'm going to go inside of OBS to show you how we're going to use this now. Now, this is just a test screen. I have test A and test B. And if you've never used stingers, what you're going to want to do is go over here to the scene transitions. And you're going to go ahead and add stinger. I already have one here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go open up the properties for it. And inside of these properties, I'm going to go ahead and add the stinger that we just created. So I'm going to go to Browse, and the one we just created, it should be this one here. I do believe. Let me see. Yeah, it's definitely this one here, 4-second one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit open. Alright, and remember I said to keep in mind the time, the keyframe time at which we had the full coverage on the screen, because that is when you're gonna have it change from one scene to the next. So we know it was 2 seconds in. So 2 seconds in milliseconds, of course, because this goes off of milliseconds here, as you can see, is actually 2000. So I already have it there. I think the default is 1000, or I'm not sure actually, because I've changed this quite a bit. So just remember that whatever you have those keyframes at the exact time, just convert the seconds over to milliseconds, type that in here, and then hit OK, and then we're going to go ahead and test it out. So that's scene A. I'm going to go over to scene B. It's going to go all the way out, and as when it comes back, as you can see, we're now at a different scene. Same thing, go back to scene A, comes all the way out, covers it completely. By the time it comes back in, we're on a different scene. And there you have it. Pretty simple way, and a free way. Especially if you're starting out, you definitely, sometimes, you know, a lot of people don't have the money to go out and buy really expensive softwares, or even softwares that aren't expensive. I mean, sometimes you just don't have any money. All you have is the computer that you're using and maybe some time that you're willing to put in, you know. So yeah, well, I really hope you guys enjoyed that, and hope, you know, you took some useful information. And like I said, you can definitely go in and make it a lot more advanced. This wasn't a full tutorial on HitFilm Express by any means. I'm fairly new to the format myself, that HitFilm Express, but there are plenty of tutorials you can watch as far as how to use it and how to, you know, add some more stuff to whatever you're trying to create, whether it be a video or in this case a stinger. You can definitely get some more pointers from more advanced users out there. But this was just to give you some of the key information, which was of course the keyframes, how to use them properly, how to know exactly the time at which you're going to place them, and how that plays in when you're using it inside of OBS. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.